Hello YouTube, how is it going? Sniper Boy 125 here, and today I want to bring a question to you guys. That question is, what do you care about when a developer releases a game? Or more importantly, what do you expect in a game? That game can be anything. It can be a shooter, adventure, sports even. I guess what I'm trying to get at is there's no guideline. There's no bar. There's no standard as to where developers should be focusing their most intention on when they make a game. For example, Call of Duty, the genre as a whole. Developers put a huge strive in gameplay, multiplayer, connectivity, set pieces, but they kind of lack in the whole in-depth story, the length of the story, the fairness in the multiplayer, the replayability of the story. Battlefield, another example, they put a huge strive in teamwork in the multiplayer, and we all know how Battlefield 4's campaign went, how friggin' awesome it was, sarcasm intended. So clearly the developers there didn't care about the story. Then other games, Destiny. Destiny put a huge emphasis on gameplay, the social aspect, playing with your friends, missions with your friends, a little bit of a stride of multiplayer, but the plot in their story fell through. Yeah. I guess the point of this video is asking you guys, what do you expect when you pick up a game and play it? What do you want out of your game? I can tell you what I want. What I care about mostly in a shooter, in a single player, is a good story. For me, personally, I need a good story in a single player game. If the story does not connect with me, I don't enjoy it. If the story connects with me, if the story drives me to play the game more, to understand what's happening to my character, that is the kind of game I like. I'm not going to say I'm apart from everyone else, because I'm with most people when I say that when it comes to the majority of games, I prefer multiplayer over single player. I like knowing the satisfaction that the person I just killed in the game is someone in real life, and I just ruined his day. You know what I mean? But that aside, though, when it comes to strictly single player story games, I can't stand when developers put a huge emphasis on multiplayer and then just put a shit single player story. And help me out here, guys. I don't get that. Battlefield's a cut and dry example. Same as Destiny. Great emphasis on the social aspect, teamwork, replayability. But the plot, the actual plot, the character development, it's crap. And I feel like, personally, most games these days are just crap with that. There's some exceptions within this last few years. BioShock Infinite. The Last of Us. See, I'm trying to think of this stuff on top of my head. It's kind of hard thinking of games with an actual good story. This game right here that you're seeing, Elysium, Dust, I'm sorry. Dust, something, Elysium, whatever. I already forgot it. Great story. Great plot. I've been playing it for a while now. It's a classic. Guy loses his memory, loses his identity. And the more that you play, the more your character realizes that in his past memory, or before he lost his memory, he was most likely fighting for the wrong team. but he's a good guy now that he lost his memory. It's like one of those stories where you're trying to get your identity back, kind of like Born Identity, except as you can see from what you're watching, it's much more anime. And gameplay is awesome in this. Story's fantastic. Character development's great. Character progression and customization's awesome. You can customize your character based on attack, defense, health, mana. You got that little fucking furball following you, which uses the magic, and you combine it with your sword. It's awesome. The game's awesome. So if you have PlayStation Plus, I don't know if it's on Xbox One. I can't answer that. I know it's on PlayStation at least. Great game. I highly recommend picking it up if you're into a good story. So back to the point of the video, though. Do developers even care about a good story anymore? I played Shadow of Mordor the other day, or last week. Open world game. Middle Earth. You kill orcs. Nemesis system. Great gameplay, just like Batman Arkham games. Yeah. For a Lord of the Rings game to have such a weak campaign, a weak ending, it was a strong disappointment. Like, I wasn't even trying, and I beat that game in 5 hours. A free roam Lord of the Rings game I beat in 5 hours. I'm sorry, but that's just a no-go. I don't agree with that. Especially for a Lord of the Rings game. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And I just felt empty. That story felt empty. It was interesting. Knowing about the lore. The lore of the plot was great. But the plot itself was dry. And it ended way too quickly for a Lord of the Rings game. I guess I'm trying to get you guys a comment here. What do you guys think that a story matters in a video game these days? There's very few instances where the story is what the developers focus on. You obviously got those games where it's nothing but story, like the Walking Dead Telltale game series. Heavy Rain, if anyone played that, that's nothing but story. You're pretty much watching a movie. Very few shooters now. Very few shooters these days actually give a jaw-dropping plot. Sounds kind of nerdy saying that, but it's true. Like, how many shooters can you name off the top of your head that had a down-to-earth, meaningful, connected with you so well plot? The last shooter, the last competitive shooter that I played, where I was completely devoted to the story. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna say Battlefield 3. I really am. I felt like DICE went the right route with Battlefield 3's campaign. The plot was great. It was a classic story. The plot, I felt like what I was doing was important. I felt like what I was doing mattered. Am I the only one that felt that with Battlefield 3? The only Call of Duty that I was really attached to the campaign was probably Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 2. And Modern Warfare 1. I'll throw Modern Warfare 1 in there. The Last of Us, I'm not even going to have to explain it. If you haven't played The Last of Us and you have a PlayStation 3 or 4, you're wrong. Period. Same with Uncharted series. Uncharted 2 and 3 mainly. Some of the best action-adventure games I've played. Great plot. Great amount of time for the plot. That is a big pet peeve of mine, is when you have a great plot, great idea, great concept, but the game's only 5 hours on. Biggest example right now is Destiny. Open world, massive universe, huge lore. But of course Activision said, nope, we're gonna take out most of the freaking story and force you guys to fucking pay for it in DLC. We'll get the season pass, like every fucking game's offering. I said it in my last video, Destiny was a fucking bust. I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that. Story-wise, Destiny was crap. The gameplay, the game design, the level design was crap. Because all you freaking do the entire time is let your fucking ghost unlock a door and you shoot waves of enemies. That's all you did the whole time. The entire time I played that game, I did not feel like I was doing anything important. So, what I'm saying is, why do developers bother making a story in a game that is crap? You know what I'm saying? You got those action-adventure games and you got those RPGs. I'm not including RPGs in this discussion. Because RPGs, the standard is for RPGs to have a developing plot and a good story. A role-playing game. Your role is the character in the game. Racing games, sports games, they don't have stories. If sports developers even attempt to put a story in, they're just gonna fail. And they know it. That's why they don't. So I'm pretty much talking strictly action-adventure, third-person, first-person shooters. You want over-the-top action? Cool. I get that. But don't rule out the fact that some people actually develop in the plot. In my personal opinion, people who don't develop themselves in the plot are the ones that just don't care and just want to hop straight on the multiplayer and just go on the freaking campaign just for trophies. Granted, I like my trophies, but I want to play and understand the story, understand the background. So comment, guys, tell me what you think. Do you think that story and plot in video games matters? That's what I'm asking. That's all. So you guys let me know, alright? You guys have a good one.